I don't know about you, but every single Sony shooter talks about S-Log3 and they take it very serious. If you don't know about S-Log3, it's a log profile and they call it flat profile as well. The picture is very desaturated and it looks like dusted. After hearing this, you must be thinking why everybody wants to shoot in S-Log3. There are few reasons of doing it. Number one is wider dynamic range. If you shoot in Rec 709 standard profile, you can either expose to your highlights or your shadows. But in S-Log3, it gives you information in both the areas just because of wider dynamic range. And reason number two is wider tonal range. If you shoot in S-Log3, even if you are overexposed or you have lost detail in your shadows, you can still get information from your footage just because you shot your footage in S-Log3. And number three is wider color gamut. In S-Log3, you get more color information than any other profile. I started shooting in S-Log3 when I upgraded from A7III to A7IV. Since then, I'm shooting every single video in S-Log3. Then I shifted to FX3 and still I'm doing it. But there are so many ways people expose their footage in S-Log3. But the one I choose is, and I started doing, is very good and it's very easy to control and it's very, very accurate for me. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I expose my video for S-Log3. And later on, we will put that footage in our editor, that is Final Cut Pro. And we will see how I color grade my footage when I shoot my video in S-Log3. So without wasting any time, let's get back to this camera and see how I expose my footage for S-Log3. Let's go. Okay, here we are behind our camera. Unfortunately, I cannot record the LCD of my FX3. I don't have any external recorder which can do that. So first thing we are going to do is we have to change some settings in our camera. So to do that, we have to go to our menu, and the third option is exposure and color. In that option, you will find one metering option. In metering mode, we are going to select spot metering. Usually, this option is always on multi-metering, but we are not going to do that. Multi-metering is going to take average of your full frame, the highlights and shadows, and it's going to make an average of how much highlights are highlighted and how much the shadows are darker. And it's going to give you an average number in your metering mode. So in our case, we will choose this spot metering, and the size of spot metering is going to be standard. We don't need the large one because the large one is too big. It's selected and phase priority in multi-metering is on, then spot metering point. What we are going to do that we are going to link this spot metering with our focus. So wherever we are going to take our focus point, the spot multimetering will travel with that. So with this, it's going to be very easy to spot any section which you think it's darker or it's more brighter. So you can check out the metering on that specific spot. These things are done. So here we are again back to our main screen. Now I'm going to move my focus point. Okay, one thing is very important. What you have to do is you have to set your focus area first. You are not going to use the wide one, the zone one, the center fix. No, we are going to use the spot focus. And in my case, I always use the large one. We are going to select it. Now, if you see in middle of our spot focusing, there is a small circle, and this circle is metering, and this is the metering mode, m.m plus minus 0.0. Wherever we are going to move this focus point, this metering mode circle is going to travel with it, and this metering circle will show us the reading of that specific point. In S-Log3, the perfect metering mode is plus 1.32 plus 2, and if it's blinking, this plus 2 is blinking, means you are overexposed. 0 means we are balancedly lit, minus means we are underexposed, and plus means we are overexposed. In our case, I just want to make sure before sitting in the frame if my highlights like this light is overexposed or is it okay. I have already turned on zebras in my options, so I can see that which light is overexposed. So I can maybe control it or I just leave it like this. So in our case, this light is visible in our frame. I'm going to see if it's overexposed or not. Then we will go to this picture. It shows 0, 0. This is the darker point. It's minus 1.7. We don't need much detail here. Here we are plus 2. So now if we take it to the light itself, you see now it's blinking, plus 2. Plus 2 means it's overexposed. So this option is very good, and when I'm going to place this multimetering on my face, it's going to show me that if my skin is balanced lit or not. And now I will sit in the frame. The way I do it, because there is one key light and one fill light. Now what I'm going to do, that I just want to know that if my key light is not overexposing my face, so I do it like this. I put my face in front of this multimetering circle. There I see sometime I'm like +2 and then sometime I'm +1.7. Usually I expose to +1.7, so there is a margin for some luminance in my skin, so my skin tone is really close to original. So if it's like 1.7, I'm fine with it. I can expose it correctly in post. And now on this fill light, I see 1.3 or 1.7 sometime. It's all right. I'm perfectly lit. So now what we are going to do, we are going to put this footage in our editor, Final Cut Pro, and we are going to edit it and make the final footage out of it. So let's get into the computer. As I have told you that it's a flat picture profile. It's dusted, it's unsaturated, it's very flat. It's not very pleasing to your eye. So what we are going to do first, we are going to put adjustment layer on top of our footage. And this adjustment layer is going to be our Rec 709 LUT. So we are going to convert this log to Rec 709. This is our custom LUT. We will go to this inspector, and in this custom LUT, I'm going to drag down and use this Sony S-Log3 custom LUT. You see, right after choosing it, we have some colors, pretty pleasing to the eyes, right? Still, we need to color grade this footage. My skin is very orangish and shadows are not properly like on the bottom of 0. First, we are going to put another adjustment layer on top of our Rec 709 LUT. Okay, we will rename it White Balance. I usually do it when I shoot my video. I place gray card in front of the camera and I do it in the camera, but sometimes I forget it, so I do it in Final Cut Pro. So here we will use this balance color option. Here we are going to choose white balance. This white balance selector, we will choose a neutral place. In our case, we have this picture frame with whiter background, and when we are going to use it, you see our colors are much better now. They are not more towards a warmer tone. Now I'm going to put another adjustment layer on top of white balance. I will name it Exposure. Now we are going to expose our shadows and highlight. How we will do that? We will select the color correcting tool. In my case, I prefer color wheel. In color wheels, I will bring down shadows. Pretty nice now. And our highlights are okay. These are pretty much okay. And I will put down these mid-tones a little bit. As you have seen in our video, that the right side of my face was 1.3 and the left side of my face was between 1.7 to 2. And you can very well see this place is darker and this place is brighter. And my face is perfectly lit. We still want to color correct our skin tone. To my eyes, the footage is perfectly lit, perfectly exposed. And now we are going to put another adjustment layer on top of exposure. We will name this layer Skin Tone. So what I'm going to do, that I will crop my footage. Only my face is visible in the footage. So you can see my face now. We will increase this because we are going to use this place for our skin tone. Now I'm going to select hue and saturation curves. First, I will select hue versus hue. It's going to show me where our skin tone is. So now if I will go more reddish and more greenish, but we want little reddish. Here I think it's perfect. Let me crop it a little more. Now it's very easy for me to color grade. We'll do it again. We'll select the hue. Now it will show me that our hue is too much off from skin tone line. Now it shows that we are pretty much on the line. This is a very good skin tone now. If I uncheck our color correcting, you see it's now on the greener side. Now it's on reddish or more of a skin tone. It's not end yet. We are going to use some luminance as well. I just want to see that our skin should be in between 70 to 75 luma. So in our case, select this luma, take it to, I think it's fine now. Uncheck crop. Skin tone is perfect now. We can again adjust this exposure a little bit, maybe a little bit. So here it is, my friends. This is without any color correction. You see very flat profile, and now it's perfect. It's beautiful now. So you see how easy it is to expose your S-Log3 footage. If you expose it correctly, you can easily color grade it using even your Rec 709 LUT. I used so many other ways of doing it, but I think this is the best way, the easiest and the fastest way to achieve a proper exposure in S-Log3. So this is it for today. I hope you liked today's video. If you have learned something, give me a thumbs up, and see you in the next one. Till then, peace.